Hey guys, Jeffries here, and welcome to episode 11 of my FIFA 13 Barnet career. Now, episode 10 was only a minute long, so I might as well start this one where the last one ended. Monkhouse, setting up his scouting network. Terrific, basically. It means I can finally bring in my own players, then I can choose which ones I loan out, which ones I don't. It also means that some of the less good youth players that I have loaned out so far, when they return from their loans, I can sell them or release them or whatever. Basically, because I won't need them anymore because I'll be producing my own youth players who, in some ways, might even be better. But that's for another time. Right now, we have a match against Accrington Stanley, who, really, I have no reason to have a problem with Accrington, but as is well known now, me being a Steamers fan, we faced Accrington in the semi-finals of the League Two playoffs, and to put it lightly, their pitch looked like a farmer had just gone mad with his plough. So, sorry Accrington fans, if you're watching, your pitch looks fantastic this season, or it looks a damn sight better than it did when we played there, that's for sure. So yeah, ever since then, we sort of had a little bit of a tiff with Accrington. It didn't help the fact that two of their players got sent off for attacking the majority of our squad. That in some ways that's not the most helpful of things, and also that the referee got so intimidated at the end of the match that we actually had a corner which we were about to take, and suddenly the referee just blew his whistle and ran off the pitch. It was the end of the game, I should point that out. It was the 92nd minute, I think it was. But the fact that the referee was already halfway down the tunnel before he even blew his whistle, and the poor linesman on our side of the pitch had to run the entire length and width of the pitch to get to the tunnel because it's in one of the corners. And we were the ones who had to tell the players that the game was over because one of my friends at the time was a referee, so he knew what had happened. But yeah, I'm just time wasting now, waiting for this to load up so I can actually do a little bit of commentary on this match, because basically, as you saw from the setup there, I made a couple of changes, mostly forced due to fatigue. Like Chumbacero, he's a player I always want to bring into my team, so for him to be in the squad today was no problem for me. Bringing Kelhar at right back, that's always a risk, bringing a centre back into right back, because it's you'd think it'd be a similar position, but it really isn't. Plus the fact he wouldn't be as fast, little things like that. And LeQuint up front because Payne was a little fatigued, and I thought I'd give LeQuint a match up front to see what he could do. That really wasn't a very good start, that corner. I'd actually handled it really well until I decided to head it straight back into their guy in the box. And I really got away with that one as well. It's one of the only times really you're actually going to see me boot the ball out of the box. Normally I like to play it out to the wings and counter-attack that way. I really need to stop kicking it straight down the middle though, because it's always going to come back to you. And I got so lucky there, because when I play seasons online, I always lose those headers and the ball always goes in. So I got very lucky there. But I do get the ball out to LeQuint, who actually, that was a nice cross. Any other day, that could have been a goal. Against Accrington today, cleared, which is frustrating. Because that would have been a really good way to ease the pressure. Like, they're all over you for the first however many minutes, and then bang, you score. That deflates any team. And again, that was a good volley from LeQuint, and again, it was another good cross in. Offside, though, which, okay, LeQuint didn't score, the keeper saved it, but if that had gone in, and then the offside flag would have gone up, considering how much under the cosh I was for the first 16, 17 minutes of the game, I wouldn't have been happy with that at all. And again, we cut to a different thing, and it starts with Accrington attacking again, which is fantastic. But the way they were attacking, they were leaving gaps, especially down the flanks, which is why I always clear the ball to the flanks. And Samosa there. Samosa? Yeah, I think that was Samosa. Yeah, that was Samosa. A better header. I did head that as a shot. I probably should have headed it back across goal rather than attempting to score. I was sort of going for the lob over the keeper, but I was also going to see if I could hit it into the keeper and then he knocks it into the back of the net. It didn't work, as you can see. He just headed it over and wide, which wasn't very good. So yeah, what's this one? Oh yeah. this was just, again, really poor defending. You see the ball's just ricocheting everywhere and it keeps landing at their players' feet. And again, that one lands at their players' feet, gets blocked there. Now this, as much as I like Galartha, has to be one of the worst bits of goalkeeping. Bit poor defending as well for not picking up this man. I think that was Ntoko who didn't pick up Clark there. But I thought Galartha could throw it a lot further than he did there. So I didn't even do full power to get on the throw. But it was meant to go to LeQuint, who I saw had made a really good run and would have been in himself. Instead, it lands straight at their guy, who just heads it forward. Clark beats the offside track. Ntoko doesn't pick him up. Bang, goal. Just like that. So, you know, I wasn't very happy about that at all. Very nearly pulled back into it there, though. That was a good effort. Forced a corner. Which, again, Samosa. Always have the trick of having left footers take it from the right and right footers from the left, because you get these in-swingers. It's the closest I can get to actually scoring from corners. Really, to have the in-swingers. If you have out-swingers, it's always going to go in their favour. Shout for a penalty there, turned down. Would have been really harsh, actually, if the referee had given that as a penalty. That kind of pass. See, on Pez, I do my Pez series as well. On Pez, that pass would have gone through, or at least it would have curled behind the defender and given the guy a chance to run onto it. Whereas on FIFA, it seems to, like, everything on this game seems to be on straight lines. Even if you want to change the direction of your run, it's sort of quite jumpy and straight. Whereas on Pez, you can do a lot more with the curve of the ball. Only on FIFA really can you finesse shots. And that's the only difference, where you can actually properly curve a ball. Or if you really, really miss-hit a cross or a volley or something, then it swerves away. Whereas on Pez, you can curve every shot you hit if you really want to. You can also put dip on the shots, which I've heard they're bringing into FIFA 14. So if that's true, then fantastic. That's basically my only issue resolved. If it wasn't for that... Oh yeah, that's a good free kick from Samosa. But again, things like that. If you could actually put some movement on the ball, some dynamic on the ball, then you'd be scoring a lot more goals from corners and free kicks and things like that, because you'd actually, you know, it wouldn't just be, because the way you're shooting at the moment, you kick the ball and the keeper's got, what, 5-6 seconds to watch it fly towards him before he even has to think about making a save, and it's just going to keep flying in a straight line. Whereas if, like in real life, you can have a shot that starts off going straight at the keeper and then at the last second suddenly swerves to the left or to the right, you're going to be scoring a lot more goals. And I can sort of understand why it's difficult for them to bring that into the game. But once they've brought it in, which, again, they're meant to be doing this year, it's just going to make the game so much better. Like, things like this shot from Samosa, really good effort, hit the crossbar. Obviously the game gets interrupted due to the injury to the coin, but the only reason I hit that finesse shot with Samosa is because I knew that any other shot would either have gone wide or just would have trickled straight to the goalkeeper. Because really there, you want to hit a really powerful dipping shot over the keeper's head, clip the bottom of the crossbar and fall into the bottom of the net, basically. But it just doesn't happen on this game. It's not even to do with player ability, because, you know, you could have had that with Ronaldo and it still would have done the same thing. But yeah, a bit of bad news there. LeQuint getting injured. Obviously we bring Tim Payne on, my first choice striker anyway, so that's an advantage. But I had high hopes for LeQuint for the season, and I kind of wanted him to play a part in every match. So for him to pick up an injury so early on, really, in the season, it's not the best. It's not the worst. It could be a lot worse. You know, if it looked like the fact that he walked off the pitch by himself, which they tend to do in this game anyway, but it shows it might not be a serious injury. You know, he wasn't stretchered off. Although, having said that again, I don't think they have the ability to stretcher off players on this game. You can have a broken neck and you'd still see him walk off. But yeah, hopefully it didn't look serious. That's what I'm trying to say. It didn't look like a serious injury, so he could be back within a couple of games. Which is good, because again, you just bring in a quick sub, like a reserve striker for 1 or 2 games, or just you fill the gap until LeQuint's fit again, and then you bring him back in. It's chopping and changing. I like to keep a small squad for that reason, because I tend to keep a very similar starting lineup and a very similar subs bench. And you know the whole thing on FIFA about if a player is in the reserves, even if he's there for a week, and then he gets brought back into the starting 11 again, he's not happy. He doesn't like that at all. So you know, on PES you don't tend to get those complaints, whereas on FIFA you do. So I try and keep as small a squad as I can, and a squad of versatile players. So if you do get injuries, you've always got someone who can fill that gap. And it just means you have less players complaining to deal with. It also means you're paying less wages, which means you can buy better players in general. And you know, it's just little things like that. Small squads, better squad, basically. If you end up with like a Chelsea, they've got like 400 players for them at the moment. They've loaned out something like 27 players this season, which is just ridiculous. That's nearly 3 squads they've loaned out. Unbelievable. And you know, it's not needed. Why would you want that many players? That is literally, you've heard in the news that someone's trying to sign a player that you kind of wanted 3 years ago, so you've just gone and signed them and then realised you've already got 6 players who play in that position. It's just, it's ridiculous. It really is ridiculous. But anyway, because of my little rant there, we missed James Beattie scoring what could only be described as a fluky header. Again, I had this complaint in the last match against York. Defenders heading the ball, you'd think they'd be good at it, but apparently not, because you know, Beattie managed to get a really good header on goal there, I suppose. It ended up in the top corner. The keeper, you could argue that he was never going to get to it anyway, but he did try at least. It's all in the defender. The ball coming in, that happens. You can't always stop a cross coming in, but I really do think that the defender should have done better in heading that away, because Beattie had to lean into him to get to the ball, which just means that he had no strength. Wasn't even trying to win it, basically. That's what that means. But yeah, I win a free kick on the edge of the box. And on PES, right now, I'll be rubbing my hands in glee over this, because there's a lot you can do. FIFA, if you do the right type of layoff, which, again, I like about this game, is how you can do the layoffs. If you get it right, you can score a good goal as well. If you get it wrong, you blast it into the crowd, you look a bit stupid. It's all about getting the right mix, the right balance, just knowing your players as well, knowing who's good at what and things like that. Because basically, in theory, you want your best striker of the ball to be standing over the free kick. But if you're planning on laying it off, you don't want your best striker of the ball standing over the ball, because he's going to be the one it gets laid off to. Like here, I don't think Edgar Davids is my best striker of the ball. Yet, there he is standing over that free kick. To be honest, I would have rather have had someone like Samosa running onto it, and then Davids laying it off, perhaps. But, you know, c'est la vie. That's what happens. So yeah, I lose 2-0. The team that I really wanted to beat, out of pretty much every team I'm going to play this season, Accrington is the match that I wanted to win, especially at home. The away match I wouldn't have been too worried if I'd drawn or lost, but the home game I really wanted to win. And as you can see, my defence, lacklustre. My goalkeeper wasn't on best form. My striker, who I had to start with because my normal striker was fatigued, he got injured, so my normal striker had to come on anyway. That could end up costing me in the next match because Payne could still be fatigued. And, you know, it just wasn't a very good day in the office. And I really do think Beattie could have lost that header if my defender had just jumped for it. That's really going to bug me, that. But yeah, lost 2-0. Tweak some tactics maybe, bring some different players in. I could end up bringing David Stevens back in at this rate, because he's a very, very tall player. So even if he's not the strongest, he can still sort of lean in and win the ball. As you see, Lascelles' suspension has expired as well, so that's good. I'm bringing in Holmes for the coin. I know it's sort of iffy around for a bit, but yeah, I decided to bring Holmes in because he can play on the wings and things like that, so just a bit better. But anyway, that's that. So, until next time, guys, I will see you soon.